So welcome back guys. Now we will start our lab. So first of all we will quickly create one instance, and for this demo purpose we can go for T2 micro, which falls under free tier, and for this purpose I will just say my server name is tutorial, and it's asked me for machine. I'm using Ubuntu, and for key pair you can create your own key pair. It's up to you because I'm not going to use any terminal. So let's say YouTube, or let's encrypt demo. Okay, so I'm going to create this key. Anyway, I'm not going to use it because we will access through EC2 connect, instance connect. So it's over here it's asking me about the security group. So for the best practice is that you only allow granular access, which means only those IPs which require this web server to access. But for this demo purpose we can go for wildcard, where we are allowing all IPs of IPv4 and for as well for HTTPS traffic. I mean 443 and 80 port is open for everyone. And in the next section is asking about storage, and we will just go for with the default configurations. I have not done any configuration, no user data. So meanwhile it's setting up. It would take around 4 to 5 seconds. We can just jump to Route 53, and we can open this in a new tab. But before going to Route 53 we must require our instance IP, public IP, and I will just quickly copy the public IP and head toward our next service, which is Route 53. So this is our instance, and if we click on it we can see that we have a public IP. We will just simply copy it by clicking over this button and just move to your Route 53 service. For this lab you must have AWS account and one domain. This is the prerequisite of this lab. So I have actually one domain already, which is in Route 53 hosted zone. So over here you can see the domain name is sayyidusmanahmed.com. So if we go into this hosted zone we can see that there's this a record, and we can add it or you can create from scratch. So I'm just updating this a record because my EC2 instance is new. So I have created one a record, and it would just take around 1 or 2 minutes to propagate throughout the world, and we can access whatever through our domain DNS, and it will resolve to this IP. So let's get back to our instance and just check our domain is pointing to that public IP or not. To check that we just go to connect, and over here we just click Ubuntu connect. So AWS would take us to our instance, but beforehand it is the best practice that you always do sudo apt update and sudo apt upgrade. So to paste anything just press Ctrl V. So it is doing the required changes, and I think sudo apt update, and we need to do upgrade. So after doing that, let me zoom in a little bit what we're going to do next. So we're going to create one directory. It's up to you, whatever name you can take. I've just taken some arbitrary name for this demo purpose, and just change directory to that directory, then initialize any repository over there, and just add one remote. This work is inspired by Marcel Dampers, so I'm just extending his work. So for that, you have to go visit to that repo. So here's the repo of Marcel Damper. So he have done a lot of work on DevOps, but we are quite interested in this directory only. We are not willing to clone all of this repo. To do that, we must do this parse checkout method to just clone specific directory. So just copy and paste all of these things till now. It will just clone this folder in his repository. This is his repository, and we are just interested in certs, Dockerfile, Nginx, and let me show you first what actually is in those files. So I have those files also available in my local machine. So first of all, we will just create our Certbot image by using this Docker file, and out of that image we will spin our container of Certbot, and then we will create a certificate request. And before doing that, we must spin up our Nginx container, and our Nginx container would be hosting those files, so that Let's Encrypt could do domain validation step and issue us a certificate free of cost. So this is the folder which is required in order to renew your certificates. All of your certificates would be in here, so you don't need to delete them, or just keep them in the persistent storage or NFS storage, any storage which where you would not lose your certificates. So that's it. Let's get back to our instance. So it's asking me, I will say okay and okay. So let's just clear, and we also require Docker, as we are working sudo apt install docker.io. Okay, so it is installing Docker on our machine. So this package would install all the required binaries in order to run Docker related stuff on our host machine. So let's click OK and OK. So we will just say reboot, but beforehand, if I just say docker ps, I would get one error. And to resolve this, this is because our Ubuntu user is not in the group of Dockers. So we can just say sudo user mod -minus group, and group is Docker, and we want to add and Ubuntu. So we will still have this error until or unless we restart or reboot our shell or terminal on which we are currently working. So I'm just quickly rebooting my machine. It would take around 1 or 2 minutes, but meanwhile I will just try to explain all of these things. So our video is divided in 3 parts, as you can see these 3 emojis. So first of all, we will set Nginx. Nginx have some configurations, so you have to say your server name, and that's it, not much stuff. And after that, we will just compile our Certbot Docker file, and that Docker file has installation command of Certbot. Over here you can see this Docker file, and in Nginx we will just say that add the server block, and this is the AT block, and we will add server name, like whatever the domain you're working with. Let's like this server name, and like that. So it's up to you. So this is the second part, and we will just uncomment all of these things just to allow Nginx to entertain SSL and 443 traffic as well. So we must expose 443 port as well on our Nginx container, but I will again explain that when the time comes. So let's just refresh and see our instance is up and running. So let's just copy what are our next required things. So we will just say this, and if I just show you beforehand, there is nothing in here, and the moment I paste these all commands, okay, now I am in Certbot directory, and in this we have the same content which is in the repo of Marcel Demper. Okay, so we are good to go now. Now we will I have just skimmed some of his commands, and first command is this. Just go back to our instance and do this. Oh wait, oh my god. Certbot security and introduction. So rm minus rf certbot. So I've accidentally paste same command. So these are all the required files. So we will just simply paste this command. To paste, just say Control V. So it is creating an image of Certbot, and in that image there would be a Certbot package installed, and out of that image we are going to create a container. So it would just take a while. So let's wait. So when it is done, we can just say this. This would create a container. So what this command is doing is mounting our volume on this directory, present working directory, and mounting one more certs folder with the etc let's encrypt. So whatever certificate is created is going to be copied in the certs folder as well. So from there we can also share this folder to Nginx container. So let's start. So we have just mounted our volumes, and we are required to do some command on it, and which is this. So in the container, as you can see, we're in the shell mode. So it is asking me for the email address. Okay, so it's asking me that you want to agree, yes, and you want some news, no, and domain name. So my domain is Syed Osman Ahmad.com. So it is asking me that where is your web root. So web root is that location over where it is going to make some files, and Let's Encrypt would check those files from the internet, from your domain, under your domain. I will show you in a minute that how these files would be validated. So our folder name is Let's Encrypt. So it would fail because we have not. Okay, so it's not working, it's failed because our Nginx container is not running. So we can just say duplicate, so in here if I show you that our Certbot container is running, but there is no Nginx container to do the validation process, domain validation process. So to start, we must go to for Nginx container procedure, we must need some website. So it's up to you that whatever website are you willing to host. So to for this demo purpose, I will just go to Certbot and security and let's get introduction, and okay. So once we are here, I can just go to this website, and this on this website there are tons of free templates available. I'm going to just show you this website, how we can host this website. So I'm copying this link, and I will just use wget utility to download this. So let's say ls. So there is one zip. So let's see, unzip is there. Okay, so we can also install unzip. Okay, so unzip is installed. Now we can extract our files from this and ls, So our files are extracted in start. Okay, so we can just say move start whatever is inside to this folder, and over here create our website folder, and that's it. So your website, and so now we can get rid of the folder gh zip and start. Okay, so let's go to website and ls. So here's the content of the website which we are going to host, which we are going to mount in our Nginx container, like user share Nginx HTML. So let's start our Nginx. To start our Nginx, there is only one command. Just copy and paste it. So that's it. So denied. Okay, so I think there is some problem. Okay, so it is downloading Nginx image from the Docker Hub, and now it is up and running. So if I go to my public IP and check, I should have one website up and running, but there would be no SSL certificate on that IP. So this website is coming from our container, and if I simply go to sayyedusmanahmad.com,